There's something about the West Coast lifestyle that pulls people in. A laid-back vibe where nature meets city. In the south of British Columbia, the city of Kelowna rests in the Okanagan Valley on the eastern shore of the Okanagan Lake, surrounded by BC's breathtaking mountains. Here, the sea and land offer a natural playground for two-legged creatures of all kinds. And with natural beauty all around, it's really like a walk in the park. But just beyond, the area is full of other adventures, both high and low. Rare ecosystems and microclimates that make for some of the finest wines in the world. I'm Nathan. I'm on a journey across Canada, and in this episode, I'm taking in that West Coast lifestyle. They say that if you want to reward your soul, you should head out to Myra Canyon. Located just a quick hop from downtown Kelowna, this awe-inspiring part of the Kettle Valley Railway runs along steep walled canyons and spans 24 kilometers of trails through 2 tunnels and 18 trestles. The views here draw people from all over the world, and it's perfect for biking. Ben Vos came here from the Netherlands. He hated the traffic there so much that he packed up his family and settled here. For the Dutch, cycling is a way of life. So when Ben and his wife first visited the Myra Canyon, they were surprised not to see any bikes. A light bulb moment later, Myra Canyon Bicycle Rental and Tours was born, and it's been a growing family business since 2009. Well, Ben, thanks for having me here. I mean, just incredible scenery as you look out. Tell me exactly where we are right now.
So we are here on the Kettle Valley Railway. It's an historical railway built between 1912 and 1914, and it's something that everyone needs to see because it's so unique.
And originally you moved here from the Netherlands. Why did you choose Kelowna?
But the Okanagan in Kelowna has a lot of things to offer. We have lakes, we have fresh fruit, we have the sun shining in the month, so it's beautiful. And then if you want to have a beautiful bicycle ride, you can do this one. It's an easy ride. You can see 18 wooden trestles. You go through 2 tunnels, and then you can read a little bit about the history. And we have very comfortable bikes to rent. It's very easy to ride this because McCulloch, the head engineer, he liked to have a grade of 2%. So it's easy to ride. Everyone can ride this. If you ride with me on the bike, it's so beautiful to enjoy this.
Let's go for a ride.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go and enjoy this beautiful ride, man.
I can't wait. So it is the #1 tourist attraction in Kelowna. When did the railway cease to exist here? And when did it get turned into this fantastic walking and biking trail?
It's an historical railway built with 18 trestles in the period from 1912 to 1914. People can see that in the past they did wonderful things. They can also see the mountains, how nice and colorful they are, what kind of flowers we have, and the animals. So in 1973 was the last time that the train was riding on this traject.
And this is actually the end of a desert you mentioned?
Yeah, so this is a part of the Okanagan Plateau, and it's on the end of the desert, yeah. So that's why it is always, most of the time, nice weather here, especially in July, August. It's beautiful weather. Visit Okanagan, everything to do, from wine tasting to fruit picking, beaches, and also beautiful bike ride like this on the historical Kettle Valley Railway.
And were you surprised there wasn't a big bike rental business here with this kind of trail?
Yeah, we were very surprised, and my wife was the person who said we need to do something on this. And that's why it started as a summer job for our boys. We started with 30 bicycles and a truck and a trailer, and we have now 150 bicycles.
That's incredible. And you've become a real ambassador for the area. What do you hope people take away after they come on a tour like this?
So what we like, and that's also why we work on a school program, is that people see that enjoying a bicycle ride is good for your health and is also good for yourself because you can see more from the nature. We like that people come here not with a phone, not with a laptop, not with a computer, but enjoying how beautiful the nature is, especially here in the Okanagan. People from all over the world visiting here because this is a lifetime experience and a story for your whole life to tell to somebody else.
With my soul rewarded and my legs burning, I hit the road in my trusty rental. The Okanagan Valley has one of Canada's best fruit belts, ripe with everything from cherries, apricots, peaches, pears, plums, and apples. I couldn't resist the urge to pull over and enjoy some of the best summertime fruit that the region has to offer. In West Kelowna, farming plays a vital role and agricultural roots go deep here. If you want fresh, you've hit the jackpot. Hailing from Alnwick, England, the Painters family planted their first orchard here in 1919 and set up their first fruit stand 32 years later. Today, the Painters Fruit Market is run and operated by Edwin Painter's great-granddaughter, Janae Oliver. Full of passion and dedication, she's committed to the vision of providing healthy local food for our community forever. Well, it is just beautiful here. Everything is so nice and lush. What makes the Okanagan, such an ideal spot for growing these fruits and vegetables?
I think it's how hot it gets in the summer and how long of a growing season we have. So we go a long time between frosts. Normally we can start planting out in our gardens in May and we're harvesting right until the end of October.
Tell me, what kind of things do you grow here on this farm?
Everything from nectarines. These are peach trees here. We have watermelons, we have cantaloupe, tomatoes, apricots, pears, apples. We grow actually over 100 different types and varieties of crops out here.
This is, a family farm. You have your father to rely on for advice. What's that been like, keeping it all in the family?
It's incredible. It's been so nice to have my father around. My mom is also working and living on the farm, so she does all sorts of tasks around, and it's been really nice to be surrounded by all of my family.
And you really opened the community here with the fruit stand. What do people come here for?
They're coming for the cherries, and they're coming here for, right now it's strawberries, and it's whatever's in season. So later on in the summer, it's going to be apricots and peaches. We do pick your own pears and pick your own apples, and it's coming out here and experiencing the farm and getting out and seeing where your food comes from. I think it's experiencing the farm is what people come here for. I think that we are one of the fastest growing municipalities in BC, and it's been so awesome to have so many people move next to our farm and be able to come out and experience it.
Well, thanks for giving me the tour. What kind of things can we do here on the farm today?
Well, we can do some weeding, we can go do some picking. We're gonna thin some of the pears and possibly some of the apples, and we're gonna get our hands dirty.
All right, I'm ready for it.
Great, let's go. This variety of pears is called Flemish Beauty. We grow 6 varieties of pears here. This one here is gonna be harvested in the middle of September on a normal year. So what happens is that the tree produces too many fruit for the branch, and we want to space them out to about 1 every 6 inches. And it seems kind of funny to take off this much fruit, but these pears get to be like a really good baseball-sized pear, and we really want to give them lots of space, otherwise they won't get to their full potential. I'm going to leave this one because it's beautiful, and maybe this one here, and you can just pull the rest of them off by popping them up.
Okay, I'll try this. And this is all done by hand. That's pretty fascinating.
This is all done by hand, yeah.
And leave the 2
You're
there.
hired.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm hired. Okay, great.
Looks good.
I'm moving to BC.
Sounds good. One of the products we offer to chefs is the zucchini flowers, so the blossoms, and we're going to be picking this one right here.
Okay, so where do I cut?
So you want to cut it right down at the base. See, there's the stem and there's the fruit, so maybe you can, perfect.
There we go.
Great, beautiful. This is a female blossom. So the female blossoms have the fruit attached to them, and these ones just will get stuffed with some sort of cheese and put on a plate at our local restaurants. Let's go find another one.
All right.
So we have a whole bunch of things that we can grow here in the Okanagan. Everything is from here.
These strawberries look so big and juicy. I've got to try one of these.
Go for it.
All right, here we
Yeah.
go. Wow.
They were picked yesterday, so as fresh as they can get.
Good.
These cherries are called Santina, and they're the very first cherry of the season.
What makes it such a good place for growing these cherries?
I think it's these like very hot days that we get, and just a really long growing season, and it really just gets so much sugar into them. There's nothing like it.
Do a little taste test here.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know what you think. They're quite good.
Perfect.
It's really cool to have all of these different varieties of fruit that is grown in the Okanagan here.
You've been growing this for generations. I mean, how far back does this farm go in your family?
It goes back to my great-grandfather, and he came here in 1919, purchased this plot of land that we're on right now, and we've been farming here ever since.
So many people are growing here. There's a big community of farmers. Do you all share, you know, when the seasons are bad or the seasons are good?
100%. There's over a dozen other farms that we work with, and we bring in their produce into our market because we can't grow everything.
And people here, I mean, they're going to come, they're going to take away the fruits and vegetables from the stand, but what else do you want them to take away from their experience here?
Well, I hope that they get to see where their food comes from, and I hope they get to come out and really get their feet on the ground and go out into the garden just like we did. We offer guided tours if they want to learn a little bit more, but we also just encourage families to go and walk around and enjoy the orchard.
Wine, dine, and unwind. It could be the motto here. The Okanagan Valley wine region stretches over 250 kilometers over subregions, each with distinct soil and climate conditions ideal for winemaking. There are over 200 licensed grape wineries here. Among them is Quail's Gate Winery. Originating from a fourth-generation Okanagan farming family with horticulturalist Irish roots, its 160 acres of vineyards characterized by incredibly rich soils sits on a gently sloping bench below the extinct volcano of Mount Boucherie. And I can attest the wine is as amazing as the views. So what is it that makes this region so ideal for grape growing?
You know what, this region is a really special little area of British Columbia, but for grape growing specifically, it is the lake. We've got an over 100-kilometer long lake here. We get really long temperate summers, warm springs, warm falls that allows us to farm something like wine grapes that would be 50 years ago unimaginable. So it's really an ideal location. We get more sunshine through July and August than California does. So it's just this little special microclimate within British Columbia that allows us to do what we do.
Yeah, that's incredible. More sunshine than California.
Yeah.
And they grow the grapes there. But what's the difference in the flavor of these grapes you're growing?
Well, we would be considered more of a cool climate growing region, so we're going to get a lot more acidity, bursting fruit. It is really a personal preference. You find California is very soft, you get more mellow characters. That can happen with age here as well, but you do tend to get more crisp acidity out here. Nate, another thing that makes this region so special for grape growing is actually the terroir. And when I'm talking about terroir, I'm talking about the dirt. So Quail's Gate's located right on an extinct volcano called Mount Boucherie. So we get a lot of old volcanic rock, clay, and sand on this property, as well as old glacial till down on the lower half on the other side of Boucherie, which gives our wines really unique characteristics. Sustainability-wise, we actually run our own composting program. So all of this you see at the bottom of the grapevines right now is all old grape matter from when we've processed our grapes, as well as from the restaurant. All of our food waste is composted on site and actually re-spread back into our vineyards under the vines.
What we're going to start with here first is our Chenin Blanc. This is an absolutely stunning wine to have here in the summertime. You get some stone fruit on this as well as some, nice light florals.
Let's do the test. Here we go.
You really can get some of that tropical fruit.
Yeah, I can taste that fruitiness.
So our next wine is one that's really near and dear. This is actually the wine that converted me and almost all of my friends whenever I bring them here onto Chardonnay. It's the 2021 Stewart Family Reserve Chardonnay. What's amazing with our Chardonnay, what they've been able to do here, is they keep that refined elegance to the wine while being able to bring out the beautiful flavors that oak really can possess. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Pleasure to have you out here.
Oh, great to be here.
Final wine here today is called the Q. This is a beautiful Bordeaux style blend, which means that it is a combination of Merlot, Syrah, and Cabernet Sauvignon. all very big, beautiful, and bold reds. We taste so much by smell. So really, get your nose into that glass and really enjoy different aromas that you can sort of pull off just from that nose there, from the bouquet of the wine.
That is good. It's very full-bodied. I love the flavor. One more. When you think of wine, you typically think of France, but now people are buying Canadian wine. What is it about the Okanagan that makes this wine so special?
The Okanagan has the capability of growing everything from Riesling and Pinot Noir all the way to Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah. We get more diverse varietals here in the Okanagan than any other growing region in the world. That makes this area really special. We can really cater to anyone's taste when it comes to wine.
So when you look out here, there are really vineyards as far as the eye can see, but you grew up here. It hasn't always been this way. What has changed since you've grown up?
So much has changed here. So when I moved here, it was, the very early 80s. As kids growing up here, we had orchards, we had vineyards. My mom sold fruit out of the bottom of her driveway. We had people come to the bottom of our driveway for years after we stopped selling peaches and apples from our driveway. I used to joke that we could run around naked out here on Bushy Road and no one would ever see us. Not the case anymore. This road here, Bushy Road, is so busy, and the community has really grown up around the winery. Nowadays, when people can work from anywhere, this is the time to be like, oh, let's go to the Okanagan. Kelowna is big enough that you have all sorts of activities at your fingertips, but at the same time, we've got lots of hiking, lots of natural space. I know my husband and I, we were most recently living in Tofino, and when we thought of having a family, I thought, well, let's come here. Our kids can ski and go to the beach and not ever have to leave their doorstep. So that's why people are moving here now, is to get out of the bigger cities, be able to have that quality of life still, and access all of this natural space and the incredible weather that's here.
Scorpions and rattlesnakes, they don't typically spring to mind when you think Canada, but they're a common sight here. Located amidst the vineyards and mountains of British Columbia's southern interior, Osoyoos is a community that boasts Canada's lowest annual precipitation and warmest temperature. It's the only semi-arid shrubland in Canada, a kind of desert. And determined to protect the fragile ecosystem here are the folks at the Osoyoos Desert Center. Well, it's hard to believe we're in Canada with this unique landscape around us. Tell me where we are. Why is this called a pocket desert?
Right, so we are in what is called an antelope brush shrub steppe, and that's our desert environment here in the South Okanagan. And so that's an antelope brush right there. So it's the predominant plant in this environment. You also get sage plants and a lot of plants and animals, in fact, that are adapted to that desert-like environment. People comment a lot when they come from Vancouver, like you drive 5 hours east, you leave a rainforest, and here you are. And it has everything to do with the mountains. So the cold air comes off of the ocean and comes up over the mountains, and then when it drops down, it really heats up, and so here we are. We get this dry environment here.
Yes, and you're actually trying to protect these kind of plants. Why is it that there's so little of the desert here?
This habitat here is one of the top 3 at-risk habitats in Canada. So it only exists in Canada here in the South Okanagan, and there's only about 30% of it left. And in the early 90s, a group of people got the lease on this property and wanted to protect this so that they could show people what our natural habitat looks like here in the South Okanagan.
Yeah, that's when they started the Desert Center here. There's also lots of wildlife. What kind of wildlife do you see when you come for a visit?
Oh, you see all sorts of wildlife. Of course, deer. At night we'll spot a cougar or bobcat on the camera. We have bears. There's been a couple of bears hanging around in the last few weeks, so maybe we'll see one today. But we have pocket mice, which are little tiny mice that help the antelope brush by stuffing seeds into their pockets on their outer cheeks and burying them, and then the antelope brush will pop up when they forget about it. We have Nuttall's cottontail, which is a little bunny rabbit here. We also have 14 bluebird nest boxes on site. Okay. So we monitor those and keep the data on them and report the data at the end of the season to a Canadian national database on bluebirds. So all sorts of animals.
There you go, and you're obviously very passionate about this. What got you involved with the Desert Center? What is your personal story?
Oh, well, you know, I just really love the habitat, the landscape of the South Okanagan. I mean, if you look up into the hills, I just love the way the light hits and creates the shadows and the texture, and it's just a really beautiful place for sure.
What kind of experience can people have when they come here and visit the Desert Center and get a feel for what it's like to be in a desert in Canada?
Yeah, so we have this 1.5 kilometer boardwalk that loops around the site, and so it really gives people an immersive walk in this very fragile habitat. We are a desert, so underneath this grass you will find sand. There's also what's called cryptogamic crust, which is a layer of fungi and lichen that protects the soil and keeps the moisture in. We also have a interpretive building that has all sorts of displays, fur displays and skull displays. And we have a native plant garden that people can come and wander through and get ideas about their own garden.
Okay, that's incredible. Well, I'm excited to see some more of the desert.
Good, yeah, I do. You know what they say, you protect what you love. So we want them to fall in love with it and go back home and go, wow, what habitats are disappearing in my area and what can I do to help that?
Yeah, because really, in Canada, this is one of the only places you can see this kind of landscape.
Yep.
Well, thanks for giving me the tour.
Thank you.
There's so much to do here around Kelowna that I feel like I've only scratched the surface. I know this is an experience that I'll treasure forever. Fresh fruit, wine, and the outdoors is the heart of what goes on here in this unique region of Canada, with its climate seen nowhere else in the country. I'd love to stay to see more, eat more, drink more, but my adventures must go on. I wonder what I'll see over the next mountain.